Chapter 3.2. Plekhanov's error concerning the concept experience. On pages X11 of his Introduction to L. Feuerbach, 1905 ed., Plekhanov says, one German writer has remarked that for imperial criticism experience is only an object of investigation, and not a means of knowledge. If that is so, then the distinction between imperial criticism and materialism loses all meaning, and discussion of the question whether or not imperial criticism is destined to replace materialism is absolutely shallow and idle. This is one complete muddle. Father Carstanjen, one of the most orthodox followers of Avenarius, says in his article on imperial criticism, a reply to Wundt, that for the critique of pure experience is not a means of knowledge but only an object of investigation. 1. It follows that according to Plekhanov any distinction between the views of Father Carstanjen and materialism is meaningless. Father Carstanjen is almost literally quoting Avenarius, who in his notes emphatically contrasts his conception of experience as that which is given us, that which we find, das Wortfinden, with the conception of experience as a means of knowledge in the sense of the prevailing theories of knowledge, which essentially are fully metaphysical. Up. Sit. p. 401. Betzold, following Avenarius, says the same thing in his Introduction to the Philosophy of Pure Experience, BD. I. S. 170. Thus, according to Plekhanov, the distinction between the views of Carstanjen, Avenarius, Betzold and materialism is meaningless. Either Plekhanov has not read Carstanjen and company as thoroughly as he should, or he has taken his reference to a German writer at fifth hand. What then does this statement, uttered by some of the most prominent empirio-criticists and not understood by Plekhanov, mean? Carstanjen wishes to say that Avenarius in his The Critique of Pure Experience takes experience, that is, all human predications, as the object of investigation. Avenarius does not investigate here, says Carstanjen, up. Sit. p. 50, whether these predications are real, or whether they relate, for example, to ghosts. He merely arranges, systematizes, formally classifies all possible human predications, both idealist and materialist, p. 53, without going into the essence of the question. Carstanjen is absolutely right when he characterizes this point of view as skepticism par excellence, p. 213. In this article, by the way, Carstanjen defends his beloved master from the ignominious, for a German professor, charge of materialism leveled against him by Wundt. Why are we materialists, pray ? Such is the burden of Carstanjen's objections when we speak of experience we do not mean it in the ordinary current sense, which leads or might lead to materialism, but in the sense that we investigate everything that men predicate as experience. Carstanjen and Avenarius regard the view that experience is a means of knowledge as materialistic. That, perhaps, is the most common opinion, but nevertheless, untrue, as we have seen in the case of Fichte. Avenarius entrenches himself against the prevailing metaphysics which persists in regarding the brain as the organ of thought and which ignores the theories of introjection and coordination. By the given or the found, das Wortfinden, Avenarius means the indissoluble connection between the self and the environment, which leads to a confused idealist interpretation of experience. Hence, both the materialist and the idealist, as well as the Humean and the Kantian lines in philosophy may unquestionably be concealed beneath the word experience, but neither the definition of experience as an object of investigation. 2. Plekhanov perhaps thought that Carstanjen had said, an object of knowledge independent of knowledge, and not an object of investigation? This would indeed be materialism. But neither Carstanjen, nor anybody else acquainted with imperial criticism, said or could have said, any such thing. Lenin or its definition as a means of knowledge is decisive in this respect. Karstanjan's remarks against Wundt especially have no relation whatever to the question of the distinction between imperial criticism and materialism. As a curiosity, let us note that on this point Bogdanov and Valentinov, in their reply to Plekhanov, revealed no greater knowledge of the subject. Bogdanov declared, "It is not quite clear, BK. 3, p11. It is the task of empirio-criticists to examine this formulation and to accept or reject the condition. The very convenient position, I, forsooth, am not a Macan and am not therefore obliged to find out in what sense a certain Avenarius or Karstanjan speaks of experience." Bogdanov wants to make use of machism, and of the Macan confusion regarding experience, but he does not want to be held responsible for it. The pure imperial criticist Valentinov transcribed Plekhanov's remark and publicly danced the can-can. He sneered at Plekhanov for not naming the author and for not explaining what the matter was all about. Up. Sit, pages 108 to 09. But at the same time this imperio-critical philosopher in his answer said not a single word on the substance of the matter, although acknowledging that he had read Plekhanov's remark 3 times or more, and had apparently not understood it. "Oh, those Macans,"